That's Gil Scott Heron and Jamie XX with the track New York is Killing Me. I'm joined in the studio by Grimes, the Canadian singer-songwriter, record producer, music director, all-round creative type, who is in town for the Laneway Tour in celebration of her latest record, Art Angels. Firstly, Claire, thank you so much for coming in to have a chat with us this afternoon. I wanted to start out by talking not about your music, but talking about your artwork. I mean, I think in music media, so much is drawn to, of course, naturally, what your music sounds like, and then perhaps secondary, the visual identity you've created through your fantastic music videos. But with this record, you set about the task of designing all the artwork yourself and illustrating it yourself, which is a big task at the best of times, but an amazing one for you to take forward for this record. Can you talk to us about creating that artwork?
Well, I've actually done the artwork for all my records, but I think with this one, it was actually not very difficult. I just draw when I'm chilling. So it was more that like when the record was done, I was like, oh, damn, I have like a lot of drawing. I should probably not be saying this. I feel like I'm completely undermining myself, but yeah, I don't
That's
know.
all right. That's what we're about here, undermining. But is that ever a daunting task to be like, okay, well, I'm creating this whole world around my my persona of Grimes, and I'm wrapping all of this up in my in the visual identity and the music. Is that ever a time when you think, okay, this is what it looks like, but maybe I need to make it look all like this over here?
Not really. I'd actually say for me, because I've been drawing and stuff since I was a kid. So the music is the difficult part. Like for me, the visual art is like a no-brainer. Like, it's actually more about trying to get the music to a place where I feel like it kind of fits with the aesthetics. If that makes any sense.
That does.
That probably sounds crazy. But
No, I don't think it does. Look, well, let's talk about the music then. Particularly for this record, you've notably wrote, recorded, produced the whole thing yourself. It's all your show. When you're going through that process, and that's so siloed, do you ever feel like, does it ever get too, like, do you ever like narrow down? I always think that when I'm like looking at something and you get really zoned in on it, did that happen to you during creating this record?
yeah, definitely. Although I think one of the benefits of this record was time. Like I had a lot of time, so I was able to work on some songs, come back to them, months later and kind of reevaluate them, which I've never really done before. My last record was notoriously made in like a couple weeks. So, yeah, especially, and also my favorite songs are the ones that had like Kill V Mame had a completely different instrumental, completely different chords. I like reproduced it probably 3 times, like over the same vocal.
Do you think that time created a totally different record?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when the record started, it had a very different sound from when it ended, I think. And it was also, until the very end, it was basically a rock record. Like, all the electronic stuff came in at the end, really.
What made that change?
Honestly, I was just, like, really tired, and I was like, I'll never finish Butterfly, I'll never finish, like, all those kinds of songs, and, like, Venus Fly, like, all the, and, I don't know, I think I was just simultaneously, like, if you just put in the last week and just get all these done, like, you'll have all these songs that you really want, and then it kind of, I don't know, it's not just it is a completely different sound, but it's not so completely different. I guess it is still a completely different record than my other record. Is this live?
Yes, this
Oh,
is.
shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Okay, sorry. Wow. Okay. Yes.
It's nothing. It's just you, me, and a couple of people in Sydney. That's it.
Right.
It's fine. Look, when you're talking about making a rock record, is there ever a record that you would like see yourself making under a different guise, like not necessarily a Grimes record, but something else that was, I'm thinking, would you ever make a rock opera or something really wild, a jazz record, a free-form poetry record, or something under a different name?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I have lots of records under different names, but most of them are. Well, some of them are released, but some of them aren't. I actually started like this terrible EDM song last night that maybe I'll one day release under.
Should have brought it in. We could have played it today.
No.
Well, look, let's listen to one of those songs that we were just talking about. We're going to take Venus Fly now, and we'll come back and talk more with Grimes after this. On FBI 94.5, we're talking to Grimes. That's Venus Fly. Grimes, let's talk about collaborators, because that track features Janelle Monáe. Thank you for helping me out on that one. And also on the another track in the record, you also brought in Aristophanes. And previously you've worked with like Blood Diamonds and Krayshawn, and I think also of like Brooke Candy with her dancing in your clips. Talk to me about the way that interacting with those other artists changes and shapes your creative process.
Well, I don't know. I guess it changes it quite a bit, and also not at all. It's a lot faster to work with other people because you can't sit and like agonize over a single. Like usually when I work with someone else, we make the song in one day or less. And definitely all these songs, everything that you've mentioned was made in basically one day, which is kind of relieving, but also kind of stressful. But yeah, also I only work with my friends. I cannot work with people that I don't know or have some kind of like chill vibe with. Janelle was the one exception, but like we talked for a couple hours before we started like working.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Well, look, it definitely.
And we became friends.
That's
yeah.
That's
like we were definitely like laughing by the time we started working, and yeah.
It very much feels like it's friends. It very much, like obviously we're so far removed from the community that you're in, but it sort of comes through in the music and also in the visual identity of it that it's that you're showcasing part of a community that you're involved in. Is that what you kind of feel with the music?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for example, with both this song and the song with Aristophanes, or maybe it's Aristophanes, I actually should probably ask her. But her name, I would just call her Pan because that's her name. But
right, from now on, refer to it as Pan.
Yeah. What? Well, you should call her by her artist name because that will help her career more.
We'll have the links on the website.
Yeah.
FBIRadio.com.
Yeah. In both those situations, I definitely wanted to find amazing kind of like pop vocalists, but who could write as well, which is actually surprisingly difficult. But like, yeah, with Janelle and Aristophanes, I'm so self-conscious about it. Yeah, I don't know. I just really want like super strong, like badass women who could write, and not just because I asked a few people and they're like, "Can you write my part? Can you write my part?" And it's like that's kind of weird to me because in the scene I'm from, yeah, everybody writes their own stuff, and the scene is super crucial to, I don't know, just like I would not make music had I not come from a super like fertile music community. I think that was very cooperative.
Well, it seems to me. I mean, you hear, I read stories of the sort of the way that you came through, and it seemed like it very much was from a community encouraging you to further pursue your music and sort of push you out a little bit.
Yeah, and there's still like the people I hang out with now, like Blood Diamonds, now Blood Pop, or like Purity Ring and stuff. Like I've known them. I guess I haven't really made very many new friends, but like it's like it's the same people. Same vibe. We all like show each other music all the time and stuff, and that's kind of, I don't know, a very important part. I think of if I didn't have those people to send stuff to, I feel like I probably wouldn't make music because I kind of even make music for them in a way.
Well, talk to me then about moving from Montreal to Los Angeles.
All my friends moved there, so I just moved because everyone moved to LA.
That's very convenient.
Yeah, it is.
Did that happen at the same time, or did you suddenly turn around and be like, no one lives here anymore, I gotta go?
Well, first of all, I was on tour for like a year, and then I just went and lived in my parents' basement for a while, and then, yeah, I was like, okay. And then I went and lived in the woods for a while because I was just like kind of freaking out about, there was just too much stuff, and then by the time...
All right, let's stop right there. Let's talk about living in the woods.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this experience. What is living in the woods like in Canada?
Very stressful, and because you're in the mountains, it's like, you can hear choppers at night sometimes. That always means that somebody like fell off a glacier, and I don't know. It's kind of like it's just like Canada's very haunted. Like the wilderness is very haunted. Eagles, bears, like scary sounds. The wind going through the trees at night is really scary.
And you went to this voluntarily? You were like, you know what? This is too much. I'm gonna go stay in the haunted forest.
All the press. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like when you're trying to work, and it just seemed like things were getting kind of out of hand. And I always feel like a lot of my friends or people I knew coming up at the same time, like they'd freak out and do stupid stuff, and it'd be in the press, or they'd get wasted at some party in New York, and it would be in the press, or like I don't know. I was just like, I just don't want to like fall into that trap. I just want to go somewhere where the only thing I have to do is make a record.
And when you were in this, is this a cabin?
It's just like a house.
Just a house? Okay,
yeah.
All right. Okay, so it's not lumberjack fest that I'm imagining.
Canada, it's like it was a town called Squamish, which is like I don't know, like next to a really fancy resort town. All the people that work in the resort town, like the ski town, live in Squamish, basically.
But see, those kind of towns feel they always seem like they're very interesting. Like that they have
Yeah.
that service industry like next to
Yeah.
crazy amounts of wealth creates some really interesting pockets of people.
It's very, very weird. It's a very weird place. Like, yeah. It's very weird.
I have no idea where we were headed before we went on that detour to the woods.
Like scenes or so. No, maybe we exited that.
LA moving. Who knows? But let's move on.
Yeah.
Look. Talk to me about Grimes, the persona, and Claire, the person. They're two very separate entities, I imagine. And is there a time when they blur, and how different are they even?
I mean, it's not like an alter ego. It's just more like a state of mind. That sounds so ridiculous. I'm just like, my vibe is I'm pretty, especially with all the makeup and stuff. Like, I hate makeup. I hate performing. I hate, socializing and singing and everything to do with like being in front of people. Just totally fucking stresses me out. And whereas like, but the art I love, like all my favorite stuff is like super visual, like Beyonce, Marilyn Manson, like super upfront, super personality driven art. So like in my heart I want to make like really personality driven art, like have a really like sick live show, have a really like everything super over the top and like super performative, but it's also just really, really stressful for me. Like I get like anxiety attacks over it all the time. So I just like the Grimes thing, I think is more, it's not like I'm like trying to be like conceptual like or anything. I just it's like when I'm doing Grimes I'm like at work and it's the job and it's kind of just like acting or something.
Well, then, do you think there is what do you think future Grimes looks like? Where is Grimes going to be?
I mean, I think I've made my like big like statement. So now I think I can do like whatever I want. So I'll probably do something. My next album is either going to be like extremely gratuitously like, well, I know I don't want to make any statements because it'll end up in the press, but it'll definitely be a vast departure, to say the least. Or maybe just I'll do Art Angels Part 2 and just release all the B-sides and then do my vast departure. I'm not sure yet.
See what the label says.
Yeah, no, it does kind of, I guess they have to like approve it. I guess if I like to give them like a noise record, or like I really just want to make like a gratuitous just like techno record or something with no vocals and see what they say, but they probably wouldn't take it.
Just do it under another moniker.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's
just put it out.
That's what I've been thinking of.
Drop it overnight on YouTube, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, Claire, I want to thank you so much for coming in and having a chat today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're playing tomorrow night at the Enmore.
Yeah.
It wasn't Metro in the upsize. More people wanted to come, and you said, "Okay, we'll go to a bigger room." And it's all sold out, unfortunately. So this might be your only chance to hear Grimes. We're going to take one now from the record Art Angels. It's a track called Scream. You're on FBI 94.5.